for anyone who missed last week, or if you go back and check the VODs and you're like, wait, did I miss one? Last week I tried to play this section of the game and did not do very well and couldn't tell how much of it was that I wasn't going to be able to do it or the fact that I was so tired operating on like 3 hours of sleep or something like that I could not think straight. So I am rested this week and I'm feeling okay, and my brain has not been non-functional. So I'm hoping that this will put me in a better position to tackle something that I know is really challenging. There is the possibility that I will put on Chat Hat and give you folks the chance to give me a hint. That very well may happen. Oops, that's the wrong button. This is the button. I'm scooting this out of the way. Sorry, but my camera, if I'm doing a work meeting, I want the camera to be like straight on, but then it's in the middle of the screen that I play games on. So I have to move it. I need to I'm gonna clean my desk off, rearrange, reorganize, get things ready. Maybe I'll try to do that this weekend. And then maybe my stream situation will work better. But yeah. So I really struggled last time, like really struggled. We'll do the manual save. Again, I don't know how I'm gonna do, but I want to try this without Chat Hat first, because I want to see, am I able to keep better track of it and make sense of it and figure out what I'm doing with a more functional brain? Because it's one of those things that you underestimate maybe how much your brain being sort of out of sorts can affect your ability to do things. But last year, those of you who've been following me for a while know, last year I had some big health issues. And I've gone back in the past couple of months to look at some of the work that I tried to do last year, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like sometimes it's like, oh, you know, I work slowly because I'm not feeling well. But no, like your brain literally can't make the same kinds of connections. It doesn't think through things. It doesn't think through consequences. It's just, I mean, I haven't actually really been drunk, but I can see some similarities between being tired and being drunk, but also just like if in any way you're like mentally unwell, like your brain doesn't operate right and you can't do the same things that you normally can do as well as you normally can do them. And so I'm hoping that I'll be able to apply myself to this problem with a more functional brain, and we'll see how much of a difference that makes. All right, so we're gonna swap Mino with Belief and then swap Mino with something else, which is gonna be this football. Rugby ball. So it's good of them to have this reminder here every time, just in case you haven't played the game in some period of time. They don't want to just drop you into the middle of a thing that you don't know, which is good. But another thing that was a problem last time, this right here, this whole button thing. I got really frustrated last time because there were too many buttons and I couldn't make any sense of it. I'm hoping, and we will find out soon, whether I'm better able to handle buttons. Who's got the button? Anyway, that. We'll see whether I'm better able to keep track of that. And for those of you who did watch the Lost stream from last week, I'm curious whether we'll see differences in my capabilities. So let's find out. And yes, there were actually some dropped frames. Hopefully there won't be more. So that's not you. That is something on my end, potentially. So shall we find out? Okay, so that's the button that does that. This is the button that lets you swap back and forth between them. And then that is the action button. There's only 3 buttons. There's only 3 buttons. In and out of ghost mode. Teleport between... Oh! 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 He's red. And Missile is green. So there's a really, really, really obvious visual cue for which character you're in at any given time. I didn't notice that before. That's pretty blatant. And also I felt like there were more buttons, lots of buttons. There's only 3 buttons and I've been using 2 of them this whole game. Now the really tricky part is going to be whether I can keep track of the left bumper and right trigger. Bumper is on the top and trigger is in the back, I think. I'm gonna try to go slowly though, because when I'm on ghost mode here, then there's not actually time constraints. So I'm gonna try to be slow. Now, one of the things that I had trouble with last time, I remember realizing that I needed to take, or thinking that I needed to take Sissel up the tree, because it seems like there is a path that is created for him. But it feels like there's something I need to do before that has to do with have a basketball, or have a ball. That's right. So what I came up with last time with the stream that will not be going up, from what I remember, because my memory's really bad, but not 100% non-existent. If I remember correctly, sending Sissel up the tree allows us to then drop the umbrella, so it's dangling, and then they say, oh no, like is that all we can do? And there is actually a thing that can happen, which is that a ball goes up in that direction, and so it seems like a ball could hit the umbrella, which would then cause the umbrella to hit the football, the rugby ball, and send that where it needs to go. But I wasn't able to figure out quite what I'm supposed to do with that. So I think what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take it slowly. Slow down, Lauren. You're good. Yes, there's round things around here. My hair is also round. Such a good line. And then I just left Sissel's like, I'm just gonna ignore you. You weirdo. Okay, so then I'm supposed to teleport. Nope, wrong button. It's fine. No, it's all good. It's all good. I can do this. So I can go further distance. Oh! Wow, he can just go straight there. Okay, the love letter, the umbrella, and this is the ball that we need to have there. Maybe... Okay, hold on. Maybe what I want to do is have him in the ball, so he goes flying. So first I need to swap something. Although it's possible that these balls are... Yes. possible that these balls are a red herring. Actually, you know what? We're gonna just do this. We're gonna just see what happens. Wrong button. That's fine. It's fine. We're gonna just see what happens with the the baseball. This is the baseball. Almost. No. See, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. That's it. That's what I was getting stuck on. So there's something inherently wrong with my philosophy, with my approach here, because I can't get the umbrella down. Until after, I don't know what this is gonna do. Oh! Maybe if I put the heavy thing in here, it'll slow this down. Maybe. And then if I send you up here. I don't think I'm seeing any more drop frames or many more drop frames, so I think as far as I'm concerned, we're okay. Like, there's something about him being here. Shoot, are you serious? I'm gonna try this again and see. Okay, I'm trying desperately to use my skills that I have developed as a person who plays video games and has learned a little bit about playing video games over the past few years. I'm trying to stay calm and thoughtful and slow down and think about things instead of brute forcing, getting frustrated or getting panicky. When I played Portal years ago, when I wasn't used to playing video games, I wasn't very good at actually being the person playing. I was used to watching somebody else play. I panicked a lot during the final encounter, and I couldn't beat the final encounter until I actually managed to breathe. So my cousin and my partner at the time were both like, you need to calm down, Lauren, you need to breathe. And so I'm trying to use that level of skill here. Is there anything else I can... Oh! Wait, I can get on the swing. I'm gonna try something here. Wait. Oh, so he can't actually get out there because that thing's not spinning. What can I do here? Is there something else I can do here? It doesn't appear there's anything I can do that's useful there. Like, I feel like I have partial pieces here for what I need to do, but not quite. I feel like I have convinced myself of the wrong something. And I don't know. What else do I want to do here? Because I want this to go flying, because then I can swap this with something else. So I'm pretty sure that this is where... Oh. Oh! That's good to know, actually. Okay, I can't quite reach you. But I can just... This right here... This indicates that I don't... That this can actually be fairly late. The fact that I can go straight between these two seems significant in some capacity. What that does, I don't know. Yeah, no, Missile has... His paw can go just a little further. But I'm really not sure quite what to do here with my buddy over here. No! Yeah, see that the basketball is the one that I want. I want the basketball to hit that hit. Did you see that hit exactly? That was exactly the right arc. There was one time that I managed to not have to do all of that. But yeah, like the basketball hits exactly the right place. Exactly the right distance. So I think the sequence at some point is going to be get the dog into the football and have the basketball fly out. But in order to do that, the umbrella has to be closed. And I don't know how to get up here without that. Look, okay. Yeah, cause see, like, I can't reach that far. Unless there's a red herring here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep trying this one. Yeah, because there's not... I can't even reach over there. There's not anything else I can do. Wait. Yeah. Can I do anything from the trowel? Hold on. Sorry. Oh, good. Did you see that? It lets you skip that cutscene. Okay, so there's nothing I can do with the trowel except be able to talk to the dog. But then I can't do anything else. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this again. Like, this much I figured out. Wait. Wait. Can I... If I swap these... Shoot. Don't think that's right. Hold on, I'm gonna at least get these right. No. Wait, no. Yes! No, wait, no. The basketball is actually the one that I want. Right. No? So once I'm here, I don't think there's... Unless... Oh, no, that's right. He can't go anywhere. He can't do anything. He can't do anything until that guy jumps on here. So what is the purpose of me being here on the swing? What's the purpose of me being able to get on the swing? I feel like there's something I'm missing. Like, there's something about that delay. Yes. No! Yeah, see, the timing of that is just wrong. There's something fundamental I'm missing. And I don't know what it is. Because the dog isn't able to teleport between these. Yeah, we can't do anything with the leaflets. They can't swap. Yeah. I'm really not sure what to do. Okay, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna get any better than this on my own. I'm gonna give myself some credit and say I've solved some puzzles. I've pieced out, I think, as much as my brain is literally capable of figuring out, and I'm staying calm. I'm trying to think. I grabbed chat hat. I'm trying to think of what it is that I want to ask. Cause like, I feel like there is a step that I'm missing. And I want just a nudge. So as I understand it, spoiler chat has already put together a hintku. So I'm gonna ask that a representative of spoiler chat be ready with your hintku. If you are not part of that, please feel free to join the Discord so you can participate in that, but don't shout one out, because I don't want to be told what I want to do. I don't want to be told what the next step is. I want to be given a little hint, at least one, and see if that's enough to give me what I need to move ahead. So yes, can I please have a hintku for my next step? Because I've tried almost half an hour, and I have applied my brain. I have tried things out. The official advice the game gave me was try some stuff and see what happens. And you know what? I did that. But I may have... Okay, time is short to act. When he holds onto the world, what does each core do? And for anyone, just in case any of you are new here or haven't been present for this sort of thing, Spoiler Chat is a special channel on our Discord, our Fleety Pies Discord that I don't go to, and so it's like the peanut gallery talking behind the scenes as I play through things. It's a great way to socialize and let out your frustration as I try to figure things out. But a hintku is exactly what it sounds like. It's a hint in the form of a haiku, and so I would rather not be told what to do. I'd rather be given little teensy tiny little like nudges. And so collectively, the group figures out how to give me a hint. So, okay. Time is short to act. When he holds onto the world, what does each core do? Core, I believe, refers to your two ghosts. And buddy old pal here doesn't have a core yet himself, so I can't ride on him. So when he's on the world, which is clearly when he's holding onto the world, it's this right here, the globe. What are they doing here? Can the dog teleport something while he's spinning? Can the dog change places on something? Maybe. We're gonna investigate that. See what I can do. All right, let's get both of our cores over here. Unless there's a thing, can I spin? Maybe I can, he might be able to speed or slow the spin of it, actually. He frequently can spin or slow things. So those are what my two, because like that's what my two friends here can do. All right. Okay, so you're gonna swap these, because I'm pretty sure that I need to have those swapped. And then I'm gonna stick you over here because I think you're gonna want to ride up there quickly. And you Well, let's see what happens, shall we? Spin, spin, spin. It's an option that I can do. What else? Ah! Okay. That wasn't it, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. I don't think I want that thing to be open. I think I want it to be closed so it smacks into the rugby ball. That's fine. Yes. I think that's all I need. There's probably more steps than I need to do. But we're gonna try some things out here. Oops. Ah. There we go. Oh, he had a thought there. I should probably see what that thought is, but... Let's see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, all right. Okay. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to do a lot of repetition here because this is a lot of trial and error, but I feel like I'm getting pretty close. That is at least the thing that I thought I wanted to do. So at least I can say I've tried the thing that I thought was the right answer and it wasn't the right answer. But I'd rather... Oh, no. Okay. I'd rather know for sure that was the wrong answer. All right, let's try this again. Okay, that did not do it. So does that mean we actually just want the ball that's already there? So moving the balls around is a red herring? That's interesting. No, wrong button. Okay. The balls may actually serve no greater purpose than for you to learn how to swap things around. That may be all it is. Yes, Missile, I'm sure, would be very excited about the balls. Because he is a puppy and they like to chase. They like to play fetch. Wow, I didn't see this coming. Don't you know the first thing about the globe climber? Huh? Even little children treat it with the respect it deserves. They know that unless you spin it gently, there's no stopping it. Yeah, it does look pretty dangerous. It looks like I'm just destined to fly through the air like this for a while. This just might buy us some time. Maybe he'll just keep spinning around like that the whole 4 minutes. I'm sorry, but I don't think I would stand for it that long. But anyway, at least we stopped him from running for a while. Let's do what we can while we have this chance. Oops. I have too much motion sickness to have done very well with those. Okay, so we're gonna try this. Okay. We're gonna try this again. Yes, yes, I know. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. I just had a thought. No. That doesn't make sense. Well, my friend. So that objectively did nothing. The basketball is the only one that looks like it actually goes. The basketball is the only one that looks like it goes the right area. It's so heavy I can't move it very much. Maybe because of that swap I made. I guess a little ball is about all the weight I can handle. Okay, what can I do over here? I can't think of anything else to do. Oh, that's a tire. All right. Wow, I so did not see that coming. I never thought the umbrella would catch the ball. Did you see that? The tree branch. It shook a little. I think I saw it shake too. If it only shook a little more, it would knock that terrible rugby ball down from this terrible tree. Maybe it just needs a little more weight. Oh, I'm sure we can do this. We just have to put our heads together. Everything looks good so far. We just need one more step. So I want to trade it while it's midair. I don't think I can move while actions are happening. Otherwise, I would say I would want to change it once it's up there with... Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. I think I've got it. We'll see if this works. So I want the tire to be there so I can then swap the tire. Well, we're gonna see if this works. Okay. But the tire starts there. Okay. Fine. All right. You're gonna go there. You're gonna come here and swap these two. Yes. And then you're gonna go over here. And then you're gonna wait around until that buddy gets here. Like no time is passing, I know. Oh, right. All right. There, we moved the ball. What do you think, Missile? With the ball there, I think I can do it. In just a few seconds, you'll swap Mino with the leaf. And then from there, you can swap Mino one more time. The final moment is near, Missile. Are you ready? You bet! Well, in theory, there must be, wait, hold on. I move here. Nope. All right. Oh, nope. Oh! Oh, this is on autopilot. Okay, watch me, Sissel. Here I go! Finishing touches. You can do it, Missile. Swap Mina with that ball. There! How's that? My head has been spared. Truly, that was a try worthy of the gods. Okay, I don't know why try is in quotes or what's going on here. I assume this was some sort of a pun in Japanese, but... Okay. Well, we did it. Oh, try is a rugby term. Okay. And that was a rugby ball. It just looks a lot like a football, so I kept calling it a football. Okay, okay. So they're saying this was a rugby play, worthy of the gods, but also an attempt. Very clever. Okay. In hindsight, this wasn't actually super duper complicated. The problem for me, I think, and I wonder if this is common with people or if this is something to do with my difficulty with buttons and controls and complexity in games in general. But I think what went wrong is that because I just had a new mechanic introduced, I was mostly focused, I think, on what I could do with Missile instead of doing what one would normally do with Sissel, which is go to absolutely every object that you can interact with and see what it can do and pay attention to that. Because obviously I went through the globe, and in fact I'm pretty sure we went around the globe. I think there was some previous time that we could go through this area or something like that. So in theory, you could know, oh, I can spin the globe faster. But I didn't notice that because I wasn't thinking about that and I wasn't looking out for it. I was thinking about Because it seemed like there was this clear step, and there is a very clear step. And I know that it was 2 weeks ago, but so there are challenges with my memory being a factor. But I also think in my case, the fact that it's so close to being like, because you can do all of the other things that you need to do to get up there without doing that, it seemed like it was a matter of precision timing. And you can say, I don't think they'd make you do something that precise. But that's like famous last words. How many times have I said, there's no way that a game would actually expect you to do something this precisely. It's got to be something else. And then it actually turns out that yes, for that one fluke moment in the game, they actually require absolute precision. Usually when something seems like it has a super tight window of accuracy, and everything else in the game feels like a little bit more forgiving, usually that's an indication that that's not quite what you're supposed to do. And which is my preference, is just make it so I can't do that, so that it is clear to me that that's the wrong route. But every so often a game is like, yes, this is a reasonable amount of precision to demand of people. It would be cool if you could, while you were missile, see what Sissel's tricks would have been. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, that might have been something, because you have more time to check things out as Missile, because he can just go wherever. That you can take your time and solve that. Because I also tend to panic a little bit and get stressed out, especially because it felt like that was very time constraint, you have a super narrow window to do things. And so I wasn't as observant as I should be. And so it's not that the game was badly designed. This is not like the boss fight that I just did in Undertale Yellow, which I won't give you spoilers on in case you haven't played that game and want to. But last week I did fight a boss that had a new gameplay mechanic that was really, really badly designed. It was a poor design decision that I think professionals would have caught. This is not poorly designed. The problem here is partly me, and partly that they're not doing the players any favors with the way that they've set this up. If there was an indication of some sort in the DS version that kind of hinted that there were other tricks available, like if I saw like that spin was an available trick somewhere, I would be like, wait, that's the globe. But I didn't think through. I underestimated and kind of stopped thinking about Sissel and what he could do to some degree. And I hope you don't mind, like, I want to get on with the plot of this game, but I'm really interested in game mechanics right now. Partly because last week's Undertale Yellow stream had such a disastrous application of a game mechanic, and so I'm kind of contrasting these two, because this was deeply frustrating. I think it's clear that a big problem that I was having last week when I tried playing this game in the Lost VOD that you will never see. I'm not porting it over because it was basically just me trying and failing and getting frustrated almost to the point of tears. In that case, I was very definitely in the wrong place to solve puzzles, and my brain simply wasn't up to the task. But here, if I were better... No, I won't say that. I have first try success gotten through most of the puzzles in this game. So I think it's safe to say I'm good at the way that this game does puzzles most of the time. So the problem is not me having trouble engaging with the puzzles in this game, because the vast majority of the puzzles in this game get along very well with my brain. Like, Rube Goldberg invention puzzles, I apparently am pretty good at, which is cool. That's fun. It's always nice to be like, hidden skill discovered. But I do have a tendency to panic and there is actually a known challenge that I have. I think it's safe that we can safely say that I have a pretty good puzzle solving brain. Like, as far as a problem solving brain, where you put a scenario in front of me and I figure them out. And I wonder whether part of the reason why I'm good relatively at the Rube Goldberg puzzles in this game is actually similar to how I can be pretty good at minigolfing what's happening in the story of a game, because it's similarly, these are my puzzles, like, or these are my pieces. Here's how they, like, what they do and who or what they are. What needs to go where to have what happen, and what do these things mean, and how do they fit together, and where are we trying to get to, and how could this all lead us there? Like, that feels like that's kind of a similar, well, but it's not just cause and effect. It's something about puzzle pieces fitting together, not physical puzzle pieces fitting together, because I'm bad at that. I've gotten better at that thanks to improving my spatial reasoning by playing the Talos principle. But generally speaking, when it comes to actually physically putting things together, I don't. But when it comes to putting ideas together and finding an optimal way to put ideas together and how they connect, and seeing those connections and making, like, conjecture based on those connections, that's something I'm pretty good at. But I have a weakness in this personal strength of mine. And that weakness is one that has come up from time to time in games that I've played on streams. And I'm aware of it because it's been a problem since, like, I've known about this since I was a kid. If you were here for the Obra Dinn stream, because Obra Dinn is very much a logic problem puzzle game. And that's, I love that stuff. I've loved it since I was in elementary school. And it's very much like you have these different bits of data and you put them together and make assumptions and see connections, and once you start stacking them up, then they all kind of come together, and then you could fill the rest of the holes. And I live for that stuff. I love that stuff. It's so much fun. But there is a problem, and it was more of a problem in Obra Dinn, where you have a very complicated and intricate series of many small problems you have to solve, and each one of them helps you solve others. Less of a big deal when I'm extrapolating what I think is going to happen in a story or to characters, but it's related. I've talked a little bit about my House of Cards problem, and I think I'm going to just refer to it as a House of Cards sort of thing. I will sometimes make a connection that is a guess, and then my brain misfiles that as knowledge and then starts building other stuff on top of that, and the whole thing is wrong. And it's like, Lauren, that was that one small oversight that you convinced yourself that your hypothetical is fact, and then you start building this whole thing that would itself work, except that one of the fundamental underlying parts of that is wrong. So how that relates to what happened here and where I was struggling, and why I think, even though I have a pretty good understanding of how to solve puzzles in this game, I think my brain was like, I've done all the Sisseling there is to Sissel. Instead of coming to it with a curious mind of, what else can I do? Let's go one at a time and look at every single thing that I can interact with and be careful. My brain auto-completed. It auto-completed and didn't stop to second guess. Well, I've already done that. And so taking an assumption as facts, like, all humans have this tendency or how is this? All humans have the potential to do that, and we'll do that from time to time. I'm particularly susceptible to it in that whenever we would do logic problems in elementary school, my teacher would always be like, Lauren, not again. In a way that she didn't with my peers. Because she'd be like, you're doing a good job. But where does it say this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know where my brain came up with that. And she's like, okay, well, the rest of it would have been fine. But you did that and it set off a chain reaction of inaccuracies. So whatever that little, like, flighty unreliability is, overlooks things, decides that something's already been done or whatever. And so I think that's probably what happened. I think if this game had done what I would recommend a game designer do and introduce the mechanic in a small and simple situation so that my brain wasn't thinking, new mechanic, what do I do with this new mechanic? How do you use this new mechanic? What can I do with this new mechanic? Where does the dog go? Get that out of your system? It's something easy. Then when they were like, okay, that was tutorial mode with Missile. Now we're gonna do a real puzzle with Missile. I think that would have made it, I would have been less susceptible to this kind of a mistake here, and might have been able to solve this one on my own. Or not, we'll never know. Yeah, well, I think that's generally Lauren's game design wisdom. It's not really. But yeah, if you're going to introduce something new, mechanically, structurally, whatever, give your player a chance to play around with it that resembles what they're actually going to be doing with it before you put them into something complicated with it. So that would be my complaint here. But no, I don't think this was badly designed. Even though I couldn't solve it on my own and I needed to use Chat Hat the first or second, I think there was one other time I needed Chat Hat in this game so far, but I've been pretty good. This kind of puzzle I can do. This was not badly designed. The problem here was as much me as anything. They could have made it better, but it was okay. It was fine. If that makes sense. Chandelier. Oh, yeah. I did have some trouble with the chandelier. I think I was also getting frustrated there. And when I get frustrated, as most people do, I think, my brain starts shutting down. Like little bits and abilities and things start turning off. Like you start losing skills, they just jettison off. Oh, and the stealth section. I don't actually know if I credit the stealth section because it's just so frustrating. It's a stealth section, it doesn't count. Although, again, to be fair, part of the problem when there was me not making a connection that I think I can see why they would assume I would be able to make that connection. I don't know what tilted means in the fighting game community. What do you mean by that? I need to know this. I've known people who played fighting games, but I don't remember what tilt meant. Oh, it's the frustration spiral. Oh, yes. And it's a frustration spiral, and as you spiral, your skills and abilities start shutting down one after another. Okay. That works. Well, that happens, but that was me. Well, but I tried and I did a good job tonight. I consciously and actively was like, I'm not going to get overwhelmed. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to remember I'm actually pretty good at solving puzzles. I'm going to use my brain and try to figure this out. And if I have to load and load and load a few times, that's okay. I can do that. I'm accepting that. I don't mind that. And it worked. So good job, Lauren. I don't actually know whether Lauren of like 5 or 10 years ago would have been able to do that like that. I think I've gotten better at regulating my emotions. What a concept. It turns out you can practice these things, even things like emotional regulation, and then you get better at it. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing. Okay, so tilt is apparently a pinball machine thing. Okay, that makes, actually come to think of it, I've heard of that before, but I don't think I made the connection between that, tilting and pinball, and I don't know I'd heard tilting in fighting games. Yeah, no, I like this music. I'm just grooving. You just have to accept that you're just gonna hear me singing along with instruments. That's what I do. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you for the hintku. That was very good. You know what was so good about that hintku? And I don't know if this was why you phrased it the way you did, but I want to break down why that hintku was so effective for me. It used the word core. And core is an unexpected word to use. And that made me be like, wait, what is a core in this game? What does that mean? Oh, that means my dudes, my ghosts, but not just my ghosts, not just my characters. It made me think about my characters from the perspective of gameplay mechanic again. So that was very good, very intentional. Like, you highlighted that it was during the time limit part, which was useful, but it was that particular phrasing that really got my brain going and told me what are your like two characters capable of doing, and where are they capable of doing that? Have you remembered to check their mechanics everywhere? No, I hadn't. Very good. Perfect. Gold star for that hintku. I'm very pleased. Well done. Sorry, there's electric guitars. What do you want from me? Alright, let's get back to the game, shall we? That was fun. I enjoyed talking about this as well. Like, this is fun. I feel like my understanding of gameplay mechanics has improved. My confidence in talking about gameplay mechanics has improved. Now, part of that is because this is a mechanic, like these are mechanics in a way that I can understand and wrap my head around. Like, I actually feel like the puzzles in this game are in my wheelhouse, even though I've never played a game that did this before. There's a lot of games that I'm like, well, this was impossibly hard for me, but it's probably me. In this case, I'm like, no, I'm actually the ideal player for this game. So I feel like I can talk about this stuff. That's kind of neat. That's neat. I like that. Okay, let's get back to the try worthy of the gods. And now Mino is right where he belongs, in the trash. Is that what you're gonna say? He's in the trash can, Sissel. Sissel's mad. To be fair, Mino tried to kill a kid and then killed this other dude instead. So, not great. We did it again, didn't we? Didn't we? Thanks, Missile. Fate averted. Now nobody has to die. Except for one brave little somebody. Huh? I'm talking about you, Missile. Oh, me? I guess you're right. I'm still dead, aren't I? So now let's go back and save your life. He's so... I'm sorry. I know that Sissel just has stock faces, and it's the exact same face every time. But this is an affectionate smirk. This feels like an affectionate smirk, and I like it. It's like when Jowd was trying to be all, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and Sissel was like hell you are, dude. And he had this I'm sorry, I'm gonna swear just a little bit. It felt like, even though it was literally the same portrait, it felt like a shit-eating grin. I love it. I love it. I don't know what the Kuleshov effect is, but I'm curious. ... Wait a minute. Wait. You can't tell me we're not going to kill it. We're not going to save the dog. We have to save the dog. What is it? Now that I think about it, I think I want to stay dead a little longer. What? When I was alive, I couldn't even help Miss Camila when she was in trouble. I want to be able to protect Miss Camila. And to do that, I need these powers I have now. Well, we're gonna save Missile. I'm pretty sure we're gonna undo all of these events. I'm pretty sure we're gonna go all the way back. You know what we're gonna do, folks? What's the earliest death in this game after which many things go wrong? So we're gonna travel back 10 years in the past when Jowd shoots that guy who I thought might be Sissel. Whoever it is that Jowd shoots that we're not allowed to see. We're gonna go back to that. And we're gonna prevent all of these events from happening, but we're only gonna be able to do that because of all of the things that we're doing in this game. We will change the entire course of fate. And we might actually wind up saving the universe along the way, because that is going to be connected to the blue people in some way that I don't have the pieces to figure out yet. But that's the end goal. That is going to be the final encounter. Unless they're like, by the way, bonus final boss. That's like a secret thing. Violet Square, I think they might, because that's one of the things is that after you save someone from death, they do remember things. They are aware of the fact that they died. So I think, yes, I think that might happen, which would be really interesting. But this game has touched stuff that's just serious enough. They might be willing to do that. All right. Well, that is a mini golf. We'll see what actually happens. If I get that, though, I will be very proud of myself. I appreciate your silence, everyone else. I assume Spoiler Chat is having a conversation about that, whether it is, that's really interesting. Where did she get that from? Or, wow, is she psychic? Or any number of things in between. We'll see what happens. Anyway, the doggy is saying I want to stay dead so that I can save this little girl. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, Chrono. I'm glad that we're both going blindly through this one. So I'm not as worried about Missile staying dead here because I think Missile's gonna be saved later. Yeah, well, like that reminds me of a thing that happens in another video game from the Super Nintendo era. that is part of a series that I love very much. That is the second game in that series. That the ending is an alternate timeline from the story as you experience it because of things that you do, but that also involves some degree of time travel. If you have played that game, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But I won't spoil it in case any of you want to play Super Nintendo games that you haven't played yet. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here singing Missel's theme. Man, I found a Final Fantasy IV fanfic person on Tumblr that I'm gonna follow because every day they post like a drabble of Final Fantasy IV fanfic, and I'm like, this is great. I want that in my life. I've started using Tumblr. It's dangerous. There's so much wonderful fan content that just comes right to me. I appreciate the mods battling it out over the fanfic link. Oh man. Oh, you guys are nice. Alright, so let's get back to the game. Oh, Sissel doesn't like the thought of leaving the puppy dead because he cares about the puppy, and also you should never leave the puppy dead. I know, it's really cool. Tumblr is great for that. There's fanfic and fan art and meta discussions of things. It's just been instead of doom scrolling, I'm looking at the Locked Tomb fan art and reading meta theories about that, and then seeing Final Fantasy VI fan art and people working on cosplay. It's great. It's amazing. It's so good. It makes me so happy. So, alright. Alright. So Sissel is sad. He does not want to leave this doggy dead. Perfectly understandable. Even I wish I had powers like that. Maybe you'll get them. You're dead now. Hey, we just saved you. Don't wish your life away already. Oh, of course, you're right. Okay, Missile, have it your way. By the way, Mr. Reckless Youth, there's a certain detective who needs that music box you found. That's right, he's gonna remember this. It is convenient that the people that we save remember that we saved them so that we can then send them to do things that we can't do. When we get back to the present time, could you give it to her? Certainly. You have my word. That the sparkles in the eyes. Let's go back then, to the present. Alright, Missile, but I'm gonna save you later. It's another point for me undoing all of this nonsense, as we can't leave the dog dead. And so Cabanela ended up in the hands of the kidnappers. We weren't able to change that part. Lynn listened to my story without saying anything. Yeah, she'd be really sad. I'm sorry. I wish there was something else I could have done. No, you did the best you could. I'm sure she's all right. After all, she has me. All right. The doggy is in the leaf. She says, Missile? Are you in there? Miss Lynn, leave Miss Cabanela to me. I know I don't look like much right now, says the psychically talking leaf. But I'm sure I can help her. Missile. Eek. Miss Lynn! And then he gets blown away. I'm going to leave it up to Missile. It kind of looks like Missile is being left up to the wind. I wonder if that worked just a little smoother in Japanese, the way that they have like kept that parallel, but it doesn't quite flow 100%. Oh, good. Look at you and your funny hair. Ooh. Oh my God, look at the way he walks. I have something to give you. Stop the park from being turned into a housing site. Protect the park, the rock of the gods. There's something significant going on with this. I wonder whether this was a holy place and then it got contaminated because a death occurred on its sacred hallowed grounds. And now look at it. Everything's gone wrong. Sorry, I'm listening to music. That electric piano sound, that feels extremely, I think. Actually, I don't know what era that is. Like, this feels really 80s right here. But these all sound like electric piano, like classic analog synth type sounds to me, actually. I would say that the composer is a big fan of that instrument category and these genres of music. Aren't you forgetting your promise? I was gonna say, that's not what you're supposed to give her. It's fun because it sets up where he says, I have something to give you. And you're like, well, obviously he's gonna give the thing he needs to give. But instead, he gives her his leaflet. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me. The music box. My apologies. This is for you. Oh. I love that she just sticks it in her pocket. You kept the music box safe, didn't you? Thank you. Not at all. I was only doing what the rock of the gods would have wanted. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue. He's mesmerized by my beauty. Dun, 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 dun. This is just everyone's awkward. They're like, in case this was feeling too serious because the dog is dead, like, A, the dog is fine with it. And B, like, here's some comedy weirdness. Hey, the cat's not allowed to get your tongue. Dun, dun, dun. Everyone's having a moment. Excuse me, but did you just realize that she's the little girl that you saw earlier 10 years ago? Yeah, he did. No, it couldn't be. Have we met before? Aren't you that little girl from that time? Yeah, here we go. I'll never forget it. It was 10 years ago in this park. 10 years ago? Are you talking about? I can close the dumpster lid. Listen to those piano chords. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm sorry. bong of that bass piano chord going into the electric piano after that. Like they overlap at the same notes, and then the electric piano continues. Oh, so good. I'm sorry. That right there, the boom, 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 boom. Oh, and then this, which just, this feels like this was performed live. The voicing is too good. And that's a very like 90s pop music feeling, which is appropriate for some reason. Oh my god. And the bum 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 bum, that driving bass line on just one note is so effective at building and maintaining tension. And it's like almost a drone with texture and pressure and just, oh my god. I'm sorry, this is really good. This is a really good, really effective song. By the way, if you don't know what I mean when I'm talking about voicing and piano, sorry, do you mind? Just a little tangent, I'm gonna share a little bit of musical knowledge with you. This right here, like, there's a bunch of fingers on your hands. And when you play piano, you use a bunch of those fingers. But you can control how each of those fingers moves. They can, as you practice and gain more skill, you can have one finger go down hard and one finger go down gently. And so voicing in a piano is when you're playing multiple notes frequently at the same time or like in the same area, and you bring out one of those notes is the melody, but there's other notes happening. I don't know if it's called voicing when you do that sort of thing on an acoustic guitar, but it's a really cool thing. I love Beethoven. He does a lot of, like, you have to do voicing right. Like, if you listen to this. Like, you hear how those notes come out, even though there are other notes in between them on the piano that presumably the hand is playing a bunch of these things. And it can shift because then there's like that deeper one had the boom, and then there's this very ding, 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 ding. Like, it's very intentional about which of the piano notes come out in a way that the other instruments don't necessarily have as much of, but they're synthetic, like and it's, you can have dynamic contrast, which is to say louds and softs on a lot of those. Not all instruments allow you to have natural dynamic contrast, but acoustic instruments are especially good at dynamic contrast. And the role that the piano serves here, there's a reason why there's a little piano mixed in with synths and stuff earlier, and then here for this beautiful, like, heart-wrenching moment. It's an acoustic instrument that stands out among all of these like you know, digital processed sounds. But it's not just the nature of its sound because it's acoustic, it's also like the degree of voicing, of intentional dynamic control that really is using the instrument to its best capacity intentionally and contrasting it so well. So it's really good. Anyway, that's my little tangent about music stuff. Hope that's all right. I studied piano for 11 years, so I know a thing or two about it. It has been a while. I started when I was in kindergarten because my mom's a piano teacher, and then I quit going into 12th grade. So it's a lot of piano. Like you hear that? That would take practice. And the reason why that would be particularly hard, those notes that are accented are going to be played with your pinky. You're doing like this stuff. It's like this. So your weak little finger is going to have to be the one that's the strongest, and it's going to have to be consistent, because all of those notes that are accented, the ones that stand out more, they have to sound consistent degrees of standing out. So you better practice your little pinky. All right. So I'm supposed to do something here. I assume I'm supposed to talk to them because I can't access anything else. I don't know which one of them is going to be plot progression. I'm going to ask her. Have you met this strange young man before, Lynn? I don't remember, but he said 10 years ago, and this park. It could only be one thing that I can think of. It looks like I'd better talk to Mr. Leaflet here. Leaflet's on. I'm sorry. That's your name, sir. Might have turned that down too much, I don't know. Here in this park, the gods surely control fate. Today, 10 years from that day. Oh. "10 years from that day." It is exactly 10 years to the day that the sequence of events began that led to everything that followed. Perhaps it had something to do with violence in the Park of the Gods. Because that feels like in a universe that has supernatural elements, which it does seem that this does, given that we have, I don't know, ghosts with powers of the dead, and also blue people with ESP. I think it's safe to say that at the very least paranormal. At the very least that's considered paranormal activity, but paranormal and supernatural are like similar enough. In that case, yes, a crime occurring. Well, wait, no, but hold on. No. We don't know why that man took Lynn hostage 10 years ago. We don't know who he was or what his motivation was. For all we know, he could have been controlled by the same entity that is causing people to do things again in this, like, the now time period. Okay, so now we're going to build a card tower. Okay, are you ready for some shenanigans minigolfing? It's completely baseless. But I can't help but think about, like, what kind of stories could I build around this? If I were given this and told you have to come up with a backstory, you have to explain this stuff, which, like, pulling up an old draft of a story I've written when I don't remember where I was going with it is a certain degree of, like, all right, well, what can I do with this? This is sacred ground. something started 10 years ago and it is concluding 10 years later to the day. This location has something to do with that. It's specifically this day. 10 years ago, somebody was killed and died in hallowed ground, in this sacred place. It's possible that if the entity that is controlling people, which I don't remember what it was called, but I remember that it exists. Look at that. I remember that that's a plot element from this game, even though it's been a couple of weeks. The manipulator, thank you. The manipulator. It is possible because the manipulator has taken people over and made them do things in order to cause a sequence of events. It is possible that because we know that dying actually has power, and death has power, unlocks power, creates powers in this universe, hence the powers of the dead. It's possible that death here, somebody, in order to set off a chain reaction of events that would perhaps lead the rise of the manipulator and their side to power to get something that they want, it may be that there has to be a death in this holy location. So we'll have our dude kill this girl, this innocent little girl, and that will be a death that sets off our chain of events. But that doesn't happen like it's supposed to, because Jowd intervenes, and Jowd shoots and kills the perpetrator, saving Lynn. But a death still happens and still incites the chain of events, but perhaps not the way that it was supposed to, because they are adamant that Jowd has to die tonight, 10 years to the day from when he took the life of this man that they potentially were controlling. So it's possible that that in some way will finish the sequence of events that are necessary for the great and terrible resurrection of the ultimate evil, because I've played a lot of JRPGs. Okay, I know how this goes. Or it's possible that the person that he killed, maybe that was one of the blue people or something like that, and killing him on this night 10 years later will allow them to travel back and save the person who was killed 10 years ago. I don't know. Again, part of me thinks that they may be Fae. Again, the bread and milk thing is so specific to the fairies. So specific to the fairies that I'm going with it. They feel fairly intentional in this game. So I kind of wonder, and don't tell me, friends who know Japanese stories and things, if that was not bread and milk, but something else that is associated with equivalent fae creatures in Japanese culture. I'm curious, but don't tell me. We'll find out. Or maybe when we beat the game, we'll find out. But I think that there's something. Maybe we're going to do the resurrection of the great and terrible blue fairy god, and it's on this sacred hollow ground. Hallowed, not hollow. Oh my god, words, they're hard. Anyway, that's not a nice and neat theory. I'm emptying out my pockets, and they're kind of going out into space because I don't really have anything to base this on, but we'll see. Today, 10 years from that day, we meet once again. If that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it? It is definitely more than coincidence. On the other hand, Sissel says it could just be coincidence. Sissel and Lauren are in disagreement. There are characters that have the same brain cell as me, like Zagreus, and apparently Sissel and I are not consistently that. But apparently you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about it? about what happened 10 years ago. Maybe we'll see who was killed and it'll be this big revolutionary, like life-changing, story-changing moment that will shift our entire understanding of everything that happens. Yes, yes, of course. I was actually about to do just that. Rock of the Gods. What's this Rock of the Gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know? It's right there in front of us. Missile. Wait a minute. You say G-O-D-S, but do you mean D-O-G-S? That's a sort of silly nonsense thing to assume. See, gods and dogs are backwards from each other. Of course not. Don't be silly. This is no time for ridiculous word games. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument. Monument? Rock of the Gods. Temsik Park. Again, Temsik is kismet, which is a term associated with fate, if not a synonym for fate. The Rock of the Gods? The rock is buried in the ground right there. It's been there these 10 years. Is it a meteorite? Are they aliens after all? Okay, maybe they're not aliens, maybe they're just aliens. Ever since that day, it flew down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. Okay, so aliens. A miracle. So this rock you've been talking about is a meteorite? Good, I'm glad we're on the same page. Precisely. It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it. Me? 10 years ago. That day I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea that day would change my destiny. Destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl. Eek! Now just calm down and drop that weapon. Stay back. If you come any closer, I'll shoot her. I peeked out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. I knew I should do something to help, but I couldn't move. The tension was so thick it was painful. Just when I couldn't stand it any longer, that's when it happened. The sky suddenly burned bluish white. When it crashed into the ground, the meteorite gave off a shower of beautiful fragments, each of which landed in a person and gave them a superpower. I don't know. I'm sorry. And then I saw it. one of those beautiful fragments. Pierced into the criminal's back. So Jowd didn't even kill the guy. The judgment of the gods was brought down on the park that day. "10 years ago, the little girl that was you was saved by the rock of the gods." Oh my! I can't believe it! ... The rock of the gods was given the name Temsik, and still today it lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. Alright. Jowd seems convinced he kills that guy. But he can't have. He said, "I deserve to die because even if I didn't kill my wife, I did kill someone that day." And when we saw things, when we heard the story, we had the impression that he had done it. But it sounds like he did not. Alright, we're gonna ask about Temsik. I never knew about this Temsik. I always thought Detective Jowd was the one who saved me. You were very young then, and you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you wouldn't remember. But that's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you never heard of it, Lynn. It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what had happened. I avoided the news, and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it. The meteorite was named Temsik after the name of this park that it fell in, and then the rock of the gods was forgotten. Now an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning the park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day. And so I've taken up residence in this park, and I'm trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park, the rock of the gods. That is my mission. I see. So are the Valians just trying to prevent gentrification? I'm taking you with me, Missile. So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that. But Detective Jowd, on the other hand, there's no way he didn't know about this Temsik thing. And if he knew, and the man died, I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? Good question. The rocks of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. See, destiny, fate, kismet, all of these things. Everything changed. The destiny of the earth is not what it should have been because of space magic. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decided to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd. I appreciate that, 3 of you all made an Avatar: The Last Airbender reference right there. Good job, all of you. Good taste. Man. We found the music box, Detective Jowd. Why is it in quotes? I don't know. Good job, Lynn. I knew you would. ... Once everything had been resolved. In this case, resolved is in quotes because it's a euphemism. He is euphemistically referring to his own execution. Jowd, you coward. I had wanted you to give this to him. Him? You mean Inspector Cabanela, right? I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. Detective Jowd? Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know. Just be really strong. Ha! See? He calls that a knack? Looks more like brute strength to me. Alright, Sissel and I are on the same page this time, at least. I'm gonna turn this one down a bit. The song is a little louder. I like it a little less. Gun safety. Pointing it at himself. No, don't point it at yourself, Minister. You should find scorch marks on the grip. Scorch marks? When Cabanela built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's a kind magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears. Why would little Cabanela use something like that? I don't know. Maybe because she's a detective's daughter. Not leaving any evidence behind and all that. In the case report, there was mention of some scorch marks. When it happened, Cabanela was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun. In other words, it proves the contraption existed there in that room that day. And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court. And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd. Now we can finally prove that. Thank goodness. Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago. Speaking of, Sissel says, by the way, oh wait, actually, hold on, never mind. Before we do that, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. This shouldn't take very long. It won't take very long. You can shortcut that, by the way. A miracle seems to have occurred in this room, yes. The woman seems to have gotten out of the chandelier. Looks like the lady has somehow managed to escape the chandelier. With her family's harmony restored, her fingers move more lightly than ever. The little girl appears to be asleep. I hope she's having pleasant dreams at last. Oh. Your face is so wrinkled, Papa. I guess not. It's nice to know I can shortcut that. The entrance to a nearly deserted, dimly lit park. He's waving them in his face. I wonder if people ship these two. I think I asked about that before. Stop the park from being turned into a housing site. Protect the park, the rock of the gods. Sorry, but could you do that somewhere else? I'm a little busy right now. I don't have time to talk. Then let me ask you this. The rock of the gods, or this Cabanela you mentioned. Which is more important? Please answer clearly and without reserve. Camila, of course. Camila! The gods! Even knowing the situation, this scene still looks pretty suspicious. Weirdos. Alright. Aren't you glad that we're doing this? These little tidbits are worth watching. Oh, look at that! The old man's not there. The old pigeon guy is still not back, eh? But you know, there's something different now about the atmosphere of this place. Anyway, whatever. I'd better follow my own leads. If I ever have to come back here again, I suppose fate will lead me here. It's a lab coat. I don't know what feels different about the atmosphere here. But we'll continue traveling. Oh my god, do you think the panic dance? Do you think the panic dance? Panic dance. No panic dance. Good. Aw. That's alright. We've had plenty of shenanigans with these two. We can let it rest. Sorry. Basement line isn't working. That's interesting. I don't think I saw anything to indicate why that would be the case. But something has changed. I'm sure it's got to do with the basement. And given that the basement is where there's a recreation of the mysterious puzzle that led to the death of Jowd's wife. There's going to be some significance there. It looks like the chef is back. The rich sound of singing and the delicious aroma of chicken fills the air. La la la, the last chicken of the night. La la la, cooked by me in that secret special way for me alone. The chicken kitchen will open again tomorrow to share its chicken with the world. La la la. I sure would like to try some of that chicken. Oh, maybe that'll happen in the epilogue. Maybe we all get to come here and have chicken together. Wouldn't that be great? I would be very excited for our crew to eat chicken. You never know. Something might happen. And then we'll go back to where we're supposed to be. Okay. Well, I tried. Back to the minister's office. I thought it was a fine flavor text session. We only had a few little bits and pieces, but I liked them. Okay, what happens if I talk to this guy? What's the matter? I just don't know. What should I have done 5 years ago? Back then, nobody had any way of knowing the true nature of the manipulator. It wasn't anybody's fault that we didn't know the truth. Do you really think so? Of course. Besides, what's important right now is deciding what to do next. Am I right? She's right, Mr. Minister. Yes, of course. I do believe she is. What is it now? I just don't know. What should I do next? You'll figure it out. We believe in you. Oh. Okay, I can't get to her until I've talked to him, so I guess we'll talk to him. Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now without ever having known any of this. This is what I deserve. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened. Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memory. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow. I just know it. Folks, did you see the look I gave the camera when we got the silhouette of the figure of the man who was holding that little girl hostage? A tall, slim, slender fellow in tight-fitting clothes with a pointy nose. A thin and pointy nose. Triangular, pointed nose. Just saying, I think one of my early theories might have been correct. Or that might be about to be unveiled. We'll find out. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions in order to find the truth about us. Fair enough. Fire away. Okay, let's ask about the manipulator first. Sissel told me all about it, Detective Jowd. About the manipulator. Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister, too. Arrgh! Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him. Sissel's really endearing. I'm sorry, this is adorable. Sissel, do you think that's what happened to me too? What are you talking about, Lynn? Don't tell me. You were manipulated too? Oh. Daddy is angry that somebody might have hurt one of his little girls. That's really sweet. Like, this isn't his serious, you're telling me something bad happened. This is his daddy instinct for one of these little girls that he considers himself a father figure to. Somebody hurt one of his daughters. That is not okay. I love him. He's so great. He does have a lion-like look. I don't know who is saying this, so I'm gonna go with Sissel. There's always a part of me that just couldn't believe it. That image of the one who shot me. Okay, this is Sissel. But now I see the possibility of a new explanation. But who is it? And why did they do it? Let's ask about Camilla's contraption. And I think that the reason why she would have this stuff that doesn't leave a trace is because she would know that her daddy goes looking for the traces that are left behind. So the idea that traces are left behind or not left behind is a thing that might have been on her radar. That contraption was a birthday surprise for Camilla's mother, wasn't it? That's right. Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere. Yes, thank you. No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine. Right! I knew it! See, Detective Jowd? No, I'm afraid I don't see. We're gonna go to that basement next. I told Detective Jowd about it. Told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place. That's very strange indeed. A junkyard on the edge of town? I've never even heard of the place. And what's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption. You haven't? That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Good question. Let's ask about Temsik. And we'll find out if it is revealed at this point, which I suspect it will be because of that introductory conversation. Like, we're going to get to the bottom of how we are connected. I suspect we will find that Sissel is, in fact, the man who was holding her hostage. Perhaps he was being controlled, I don't know. We'll find out. But it did rather look like his profile, didn't it? A slim man in a suit with a pointy triangular nose. Let's find out. Detective Jowd, You must have heard this name before. Temsik. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago. You were there. ... So you found out about that, did you? I hear that meteorite saved little Lynn's life. That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynn that day. But in that case, I don't get it. If it's true, doesn't it mean you didn't steal somebody's life away? What are you talking about? Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person who killed the perpetrator in the park was you. What? But it was the meteorite. ... I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away. No question about it. It was entirely my fault. Jowd, honey, your tendency to claim guilt and blame for things that you do not deserve guilt or blame for thus far makes this claim suspect. Just a little. Look. Do you see any hair coming out of the back of the head? I don't, and I think that's because the hair is piled on top of the head. I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. The nose is, so he's got a shoulder piece that's sticking up right here, and the nose goes right into it, like against it. At that point, I was already a murderer in my heart. I had the intent, and that is the same thing as having done the thing, obviously. Jowd, honey. That's not true. You were trying to save me. Lynn, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it. Huh? Because I don't think that it's, for example, Cabanela, the other skinny man in a suit that we've seen, who has a very pronounced nose. This is more of a this nose. The truth about 10 years ago. On that day 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place. Well, Cabanela could have been not wearing the jacket. That is a thing that could have happened. But they wouldn't have had to change the character design. A slim-fitting suit with a little jacket over it, like the one that our main character wears. Another place? Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident. A suspect who was being questioned escaped. Wow, I didn't know about that. I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park. Hold it right there! I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him bad. That warning shot made him panic. I'm sorry, but it looks a lot. If it's not him, it's designed to make us think it's him. Just saying. At the time, I was a young and green detective, brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. It's good writing. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynn. It was all my fault. You really need to put this guilt thing aside, Jowd. It really is affecting your ability to do your job. Detective Jowd. All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lynn. So the man who grabbed me died that day. These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. That's why I painted it in my jail cell. And then a few years after that, when my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done. I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. And tonight, I painted the face of the man I killed that night. It's gonna be it. Unless they're intentionally setting you up to think that, and then they're gonna pull a trick, which they are allowed to do in a game like this. In a story like this, they're allowed to have a gotcha because it's all about the mystery. But we'll see. I finished my last portrait. The final face I wanted to remember. Brace yourselves, folks. Let's find out. Let us find out. Am I right? The final face. The face of the man in the park that day. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh, that's so satisfying. I'm sorry. Because this is a game that you're supposed to puzzle through that. The game wants you to puzzle through it. Just as you're puzzling through the gameplay, you're supposed to puzzle through the story, and I got it. I'm really excited. That was really satisfying. Oh, wait, just 1 minute. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight. It was my face. Sorry. I'm gonna see if this music goes somewhere. Very mysterious. Layered. Is that a timpani at the bottom there? Yeah. Yeah, that is. Hell yeah. For a track that you're probably not supposed to hear super long, he went hard. Very good. This is a very good song. A very good song. Okay, we'll continue now. I'm sorry, I had to listen to it. I feel like this is my reward. All right. It was my face. Are you telling me I was the man in the park that time? That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. Have you known this, Jowd? I thought Jowd couldn't see. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll have to listen to the DS version of this track if it's even better, because this is really good. The face of the man whose life I stole, of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene. But hold on, Detective Jowd. That can't be true. I just met Sissel for the first time tonight. And he died right in front of me. By the way, the name that I know the man in the park that day by isn't Sissel. I'm sorry. I'm really enjoying this. I mean, it's a good story because the game is still silly, even though it also has its, like, the story is serious to the characters in it, but it's got that silliness that makes me not feel as bad that in this big dramatic moment I'm like, oh my god, I got the thing right, I guessed it, ah! You know? I'm allowed to gloat in a way that I wouldn't if this was like Final Fantasy X storyline. I would be like crying instead of this. I think I'm actually pretty good at figuring out story things. This is actually why I want to be as adamant against any even breathing of a potential spoiler or detail or anything, because my brain is pretty good at this and it works overtime and it loves when you get, so if you say a thing that isn't actually a spoiler but it hints at literally anything, my brain will take that piece and start smashing it into everything else I know and probably come up with a bunch of stuff. Yeah, no, I feel like the game gives you the pieces to figure out a lot of this. Or if you come to this without knowing all of this stuff, I think that the game has given you enough that you're like, oh, right, that makes sense. Instead of it being like, huh? Like you either have guessed it or you have enough pieces that they're slotting it together. And yeah, I'm not so worried about the pacing right now because the tension of this moment isn't such that I have to get through it. If we have like the confrontation between Cabanela and Jowd earlier, like things like that, there's things that have pacing where I'm just like at the edge of my seat and I'm not feeling that right now. So I'm gloating a little bit. I'm allowing myself to. But yeah, so that's why, by the way, I'm so particular about no spoilers or anything that could even be construed as spoilers, because even the tiniest little clue, my brain will start bashing things together. So yeah. So it's not Sissel, which they do provide you with all the information you know to doubt whether his name is Sissel. They do. They give you a lot of things. Some of my guesses here have been totally in left field, and so I'm not expecting like all of my random piling of ideas to come into fruition. But the things that I'm more confident about, I think they've done a good job with. What? From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight. Okay, so he could see me. I thought he couldn't see me, so I thought he didn't realize that. That's interesting. I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy? Mr. Minister! Inspector Cabanela, where are you? We're gonna go to the basement. We're gonna figure things out. Oh my god. Just be quiet and listen. This is me reading the dialogue in real time. For those of you who are listening instead of watching, the rest of Cabanela's dialogue here is as follows. This is our demand. Oh, he's in with the bad guys. Did you sell your soul for success, Cabanela? Or are you part of something bigger? How long have you been in with them? I guess we'll find out. What? Demand? Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be tonight. I did say who would be able to sneak in to Jowd's house and mess with things, or know about Jowd's house, or something like that. It just indicates that there's going to be somebody with personal knowledge of Jowd to be able to set that up, whether Cabanela was the one doing it or not, because somebody was using ghost trick powers. Maybe Cabanela has ghost trick powers, maybe he doesn't. But he's the one who would know their house. Sorry. Once we've confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage. And yeah, he definitely feels like a bad guy. What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanela? And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted. Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life. That's going to be significant on some level. This life is a life thing. Is Jowd going to, like, do they need Jowd to die to make up for somebody else's life? Well, we'll find out. Do they need to use the power of Jowd's death to do their apocalyptic evil Phalian nonsense? Find out. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. That's why I couldn't go to the basement. That's why the atmosphere in that place had changed. Aren't you glad that we went on a little journey over there so that we knew something was up? Ha! What is it, Mr. Minister? You look paler than ever. What in the world? What's going on? Inspector Cabanela! The rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fates of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And even now, the chain continues to grow ever longer. Inspector Cabanela's call proved that to us. And the greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Perhaps what feels like a selfish desire to figure out his own situation and make his own peace before he passes on was in fact the reason why he came back from the dead, the reason why things were set up for him in the first place. He knows that he needs to get to the bottom of something about this, and he can't remember the details, but he remembers and has the drive to get to the bottom of it anyway. I like that. Who am I? I'm even further from knowing that than when I started. Oh, that feels so dramatic. Oh, it's so good. We'll find out. Clear chapter 14, 1:28 a.m. to 2:55 a.m. The Linked Past. That song was really good. Save your current place and time, yes. We got about half an hour left. That's long enough for us to dig in. If this is the end of the game that I'm at, we may go over. If I just can't tear myself away. We'll see. But we're going to continue playing. 2:55 a.m. Man, you folks are very awake. To be fair, they died and come back a few times, so that'll do it. Wait, but the name wasn't Sissel. Okay. 10 years ago, a man named Sissel took a little girl named Lynn hostage and then was killed by a meteorite fragment. Tonight, a man named Sissel met a detective named Lynn at a junkyard on the edge of town and then was killed by a bullet. Like, just the way this is written, the parallels is really cool. It's just very cool. But the scene I find waiting for me on the other end of the phone line feels like the final nail in the coffin of my lost memory. I didn't call that. I did not call that. I don't think I called that, folks. I see myself. His body got taken away. It's possible that it got reanimated. It's possible that somebody else is wearing his body. Or it's possible that this is not even the body of the ghost that we're talking to. I don't know. We'll find out. The easiest explanation I can think of is somebody else wearing his body, but we'll find out. He's smirking. It's so weird to see him animated. Sitting on the desk there. Ah! Oh my God. I'm sorry. I want to just give him the same voice I've been giving Sissel this whole time, as well as I can voice. There you are, Commander Sith. Finally. Sissel! Where have you been, my good man? We've been looking everywhere for you. Had a little unfinished business to take care of. Didn't think it would take this long. What about your people? They sure went out of their way to mess me up. I say, I believe we fulfilled every one of your conditions in our little deal. So killing him, killing these people, all of these deaths were part of his plan to or whatever it is that he's trying to orchestrate. What right do you have to complain about anything outside our bargain? We can talk about that when we get together. This will be our last communication by telephone. We'll arrive in 1 hour. I look forward to seeing you, Sissel. Dawn is approaching. The darkness surrounding my own mystery is deep, but I know it's always darkest before the dawn. Yes. We're nearing the final stages of our little deal, my good man. Yes, sir. All preparations are complete, sir. And we just had a report, sir. Lights have been spotted, sir. Have they now? By all means, let me have a look. I like that his painting is of him holding a staff. What lights? Yes, we're very close. We will now disconnect from the communication cable and have no service until we arrive, sir. Spaceship. Very well. Love it. Smacking that device is the way that you're supposed to do things with it. The phone just fell down there. Submarine! 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 Not spaceship! Submarine! Those guys aren't blue. Nice try, Inspector Cabanela. Whose hands? I don't understand. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. No, put that face away. That kind of nasty, evil smile does not belong in the face of my friend. It's really just disorienting and uncomfortable. It's weird. It feels wrong. This is my friend. But it's a very expressive, like the expression on his face very clearly states an emotion that my friend would never have. I don't like it. I don't like it. But you can never stop me. Peace out. See ya, sucker. To be fair, this is the way of talking that goes with this kind of design. We're gonna make friends with Cabanela. So, that submarine guy and his people have a deal going with me, do they? With me? You're still. Alright, Sissel, we'll roll with that. If that's the case, they probably aren't the ones who killed me, right? Anyway, there's definitely something behind the inspector's death. I think I'd better talk to him. Or hear me out. Sorry. Not sorry. It'll be quick. Yeah. Just in case. Oh man, they're like, no, Lauren. Oh, we get a scene. Look at that. Did I make the right decision? I can't believe I let a death row inmate go free, if only for the night. Maybe I wasn't cut out to be Justice Minister. Sir, after everything that's gone down this evening, that's still your takeaway from this? Man, what? No. Just what kind of minister I was meant to be. Looks like there's no end to the minister's worrying. Yeah, he's got some issues. And he does need therapy. A few of them do. Jowd needs some therapy. Okay, that's where we're supposed to be. Alright. Look at that. I can shortcut that. I don't know if you can hear me smashing my buttons. Oh. Okay, well at least these guys seem to be alright. Yeah, something's going on down there. Cool. Like, I doubt there's gonna be anything here. But I gotta check. What is Cabanela? Are there multiple groups doing something now? Are there multiple bad guy factions? Like, I mean, we're about to find out what Cabanela is up to, and I really, at this point, I really don't know. I'm trying to think through, do I have... Cabanela was talking about our demands. And in some way, he's opposed to Sissel. The other Sissel. Evil Sissel. Okay, well, it doesn't appear there's anything else to do, so I guess we're gonna have to go back to where we're supposed to be. But we got a little tiny bit of something. Alright. So we're about to get some answers. Let me see if I have anything. Let me see if I've got anything. Actually, you know what? We've got... I lost my life at a lonely spot on the outskirts of town. Is my name really Sissel? That man who was hit by a meteorite fragment in front of Detective Jowd in the park 10 years ago. The man who was trying to take Lynn hostage. Is that me? Lynn. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Camila. Apparently she believes her mother's death was caused by the contraption she created. Kidnapped because she was mistaken for the Justice Minister's daughter, her current whereabouts are unknown. Valiant pet. A friendly little Pomeranian, his name is Missile. Thinking he needs his powers to protect the little lady, he chose not to be brought back to life. Possessing a leaf, he was blown away on the wind. The lady. Emma. In protest of her justice minister husband's execution order, she moved out with her daughter. She's made up with her husband, but is apparently doomed to dangle from the chandelier tonight. The daughter. With peace restored to her family, and after finally being able to call her father, she's now sleeping soundly. Maybe she's worn out by all the drama. Careworn gentleman. 1 month ago, he was physically manipulated into ordering the death row convict's execution. Not wanting this to get out, he's since been in constant anguish. He decided to halt the execution. So somebody... Oh! Odd blue doctor. He was examining my corpse. Him. He was looking at the body. Is somebody else piloting that body around? I wonder. Cabanela. He's investigating a big deal. After finding out what the manipulator really is and rushing off, he called the justice minister demanding that the execution be carried out. He's in charge of the special investigation unit, which is specifically basically the paranormal investigators. Huh, I wonder. This guy, Rock the Gods, he apparently also lives in the maintenance building. The murder machine in the building's basement is almost identical to the contraption that killed Jowd's wife. I wonder if he and Cabanela are in league together? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Just one half of the couple that showed up to make a deal that could affect the future of the nation. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering what that deal is. Here's Camilla's mother and Jowd's wife. 5 years ago, she was shot and killed when the contraption Camilla made for her birthday made an impossible move. It's a good possibility the manipulator had a hand in her death. Just making sure she's not like a zombie reincarnation of the dead wife or something. I don't think they look alike. Their faces are different. I had to double check though. You know how it is. All right, are you ready? There's not a lot we can do here yet. We need to talk to the inspector. You ready to talk to the inspector, buddy? Mr. Friend? See what's going on? Let's do this. Dot, dot, dot. Hey, do you think you could wake up for me? Dot, dot, dot. Oh boy. Still unconscious, eh? I guess he hasn't been dead for very long then. I'll just go ahead and go back to 4 minutes before his death. I'm a little nervous about what I might see there, though. But if that's where I'm going to find my answers, I can't run away from it. That's the spirit, Sissel. Even if you dread something, if it's the best thing to do, don't run away from it. We'll rewind time. Keep wanting to go Sega at the end of that. Okay, 2:50 a.m. maintenance building. Alright. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Notice how he's not using names. Maybe it hurts too much. The betrayal of his best friend or his former best friend. Better to depersonalize the situation and discuss the criminal and the punishment he deserves instead of once Jowd is executed. Coward. You can't even confront what you're talking about, can you? Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. Oh, that's interesting body language. Oh. Oh, that body language. Oh, that body language. Look at that. That does add another layer here. Along with evil Sissel. Sissel. Sissevil. Sissel. Sissel is my character. Sissel is the evil one because he's a Sith and the bad guy is a Sith. There we go. Or Sissel. He could be Sissel. That's true. We could have Sissel and Sissel. Do we have a preference between those two? Do we prefer Sissel or Sissel to indicate the bad guy version of Sissel? Oh man. Okay, it looks like Sissel is, yeah, Sissel. Okay, it looks like Sissel is more popular. Okay. We're gonna go with Sissel then. I appreciate that. Thank you for the suggestion. I had an idea, but it wasn't quite the right idea, so thank you. We'll go with that. Okay, so Sissel here says, that's a good boy. Gee, a hostage sure is a handy thing. It gives me complete control over the top police inspector in the country. Oh, don't make that face. I'm so, like, it's like viscerally uncomfortable. Like, like raises my hackles every time I see it, which is clearly and intentionally the effect, you know, like they know what they're doing. Like, one of the things that I love so much about this game is that this is made by people who have made a lot of games in the past, and they know exactly what they want to do. And this is clearly a game that they were like, we're just gonna go all in and we're gonna make this awesome thing that we really want to make. Like this feels like the passion project side story of like, they've made all this other stuff that was popular and they loved it, but this feels like this was like a dream project to work on. And they're so intentional and so good that when they were like, and then we're going to put this expression, and it's gonna be uncomfortable for the player after so many hours of knowing Sissel. It's just gonna, you know, it's great, it's good, it's perfect, it's brilliant. And it wouldn't be effective if they hadn't set it up right, but they set it up right. Because I've talked about Sissel's expressions and how I love them and how effective they are and how they when they get recontextualized, they seem to mean different things and how great that is and blah, 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 blah. And then they put this and I'm just like, Sissel would never. He would never. He doesn't have that in him. He'd never let any harm come to a little lady. He's upset about the puppy dog being dead. Like, he's good. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just so good. And just sinister. Like, I don't know. All right, Sissel, we'll keep going. It gives me complete control over the top police inspector in the country. Okay, this is not voluntary. Cabanela is not happy about this. But he doesn't want any harm coming to a little girl. What's the matter? Oh, those broke... So I read really fast, and so I read things out loud to slow myself down, which means that sometimes I'm in the middle of reading a sentence out loud when I realize what it says. Apologies for anyone who's listening. I think you're gonna have to get through a lot of that this part of the game, because my god. Line. And this is coming from the face that we know, that I feel good when I see this smile sometimes, which is also really uncomfortable. What's the matter? All those broken bones smart a bit. What's it like to feel pain? Does it make you feel alive? Okay, I think somebody's wearing my body. Why are you doing this? Sorry, I can't do this in my usual goofy Cabanela voice. Now, is that any kind of question for a top inspector to ask? Isn't it obvious? Revenge, of course. Revenge on all the people who stole my life away 10 years ago. What? Hold up! But this can't be the guy who escaped and got killed by the meteorite. But he is trying to have Lynn killed. He's trying to have Jowd killed. Like, a bunch of people who were at that park 10 years ago died. And that could explain why he wanted Jowd's wife to die and his daughter to be framed for it. If he was a poltergeist at that point, sorry, you're gonna just have to deal with this. This is a game where we puzzle through things. We're supposed to puzzle through things, and they are giving me pieces and I'm gonna puzzle through them. So he gets killed. The thing is, he seemed more petty than that. But then when he says, like, having a hostage is convenient, isn't it? He had a hostage 10 years ago. If this is that guy, unless he was riding in the body at the time, but he gets killed and he's a ghost, and he decides he's going to mess things up, and he sets up everything to ruin Jowd's life. But why would that have happened 5 years ago? At that time, what would be the timing on that? I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll figure it out bit by bit by bit. It just, that guy felt too petty. He didn't seem, when he's like, stop or I'll shoot. Like, he had this, like, fear. He didn't feel like this kind of terrifying. I don't know. We'll see. So it could be that someone else died that day. That's not him. I don't know. We'll see. Cabanela is trying to move. Don't be ridiculous. It was a meteorite that stole your life. Or have you forgotten that? Okay, so he knew that. And so his is this guy. Okay. Did he split in half? Did his good side? Did his good side split and his bad side split, and now his good side is the Sissel that I know, and his bad side is Sissel, and so Sissel is all bad and Sissel is all good? I don't know, man. He says, I was murdered by all of you. You just burned your hand on the stove. And don't feel pain because you're dead. Detective Jowd, who chased me down and forced me into a corner even though I was innocent. Lynn, that girl who was right there where I was running. Lynn, she was just an innocent little girl playing in the park. If that brat hadn't been there, I never would have thought of taking a hostage. That's the most self-centered garbage I've ever heard. Okay, so they're not going there with Cabanela. And finally, you, Inspector Cabanela. Me? If you hadn't done what you did, I never would have pointed a gun at that kid. You were so proud of your spotless record, and my case was the one blot on it, wasn't it? Only two people know the real truth. Me and Detective Jowd. ... I bet tonight's execution will be quite a bit of relief to you, won't it? One of the people who know about the stain on your record will disappear for good. That's why you didn't help him escape from prison. That's the kind of guy you are. ... I got nothing to say to you. You'd never listen anyway. And then the ghost brings it back. and reanimates him. Because this ghost... says, "Ye gods." Now then, Inspector. Hold on. We're building somewhere. Gonna see if the loop changes. Yeah. That solo is so good. It's really cool. And I like that it's a track that you know this track, like the original, super well. But then this is like you've never heard before. It's really nicely done. Alright. Now then, Inspector. Time to make a big red stain on your spotless white coat. This was another condition of my deal. To wipe out everybody who knew about Temsik. Revenge? That's what I'm up to? None of this makes any sense. Hey, man! Hi, Cabanela. Mind telling me what's going on? Inspector Cabanela, he's awake. My head is spinning, baby. Am I to understand that Cabanela character who just got shot is me? That's right. And you're supposed to be the scoundrel there who just shot me. I guess so. But you couldn't be, could you? Huh? After all, the guy in the red suit just walked out the door, right? So, who are you? Guess I just have to face it. I'm not that Sissel guy. I'm somebody who's searching for himself. That's why I'm here to save you. At the very least, you have information about that guy in red. The information I need. So you came on a rescue mission now, did you? Nothing like the sound of that, baby. Because there's a very important life here somewhere. A life valuable to this nation. Okay, so do your thing, baby. Alright. He comes across as like a little drunk. Alright, folks, are you ready? It's trick time. I'm gonna just look at him. There's that something emanating from his body. Is it really the sign of having special powers of the dead? Or is it something else? Alright, I'm gonna turn off the heat in my room and then I'm gonna try to solve this. Yeah, no, Cabanela is complicated and hard to predict. It's really interesting. Oh man. Alright. So are you a manipulator too? I have ghost tricks. Powers of the dead, yeah, but I can't control living creatures. Anywho, I think you'd better be very careful. That guy in red is a manipulator. Naturally, he knows about powers like yours. Yeah, he's gonna be fighting me this whole time. I should probably start over, or start here next time. Because I'm gonna probably run way over trying to do this. I should actually shut down. But I really want to do this. I want to see what happens next. It says what? If he realizes you're here, Things might get a little sticky. You're right. You better be careful. He's talking about hostages. I have to not be seen. I have to wait until he knocks this to the ground, and I have to do something. What's it like to feel pain? Does it make you feel alive? And then he puts his hand on the stove right after that line to be like, by the way, he's not alive. Look at this place. What in the world happened here? Think I'm starting to remember. Something bad happened here. And now there's another death lying hidden here. What? Another death? Didn't I tell you from the start? Didn't I say there was a very important life valuable to the nation here? I wasn't talking about himself, but you're already kind of like, is Cabanela a bad guy? I think he might be a bad guy. Is he talking about himself? He's not, in fact, talking about himself. I thought you were talking about you. Huh, I'm just a crazy character in a white coat, baby. Oh, the pigeon guy's dead. Hey, come to think of it, where is that old pigeon guy? Measuring Jason's device, examine. This is some kind of device. Very astute observation. Thanks, Cabanela, you smartass. Sorry, my memory isn't working. Yeah, mine isn't working too well right now either. I do remember seeing somebody use this equipment, though. There we go. Oh, there's something below here. Balance toy. All right. I'm gonna have to see before this guy dies. I'm gonna jump back past that, and that's gonna be the next story bit. Yeah. Excuse me. ... Are you awake? Of course. I never sleep during work hours. Professor, do you recognize me? There's only one crazy character in a white coat that I know of. He hasn't lost his memory. I'm not the type who likes losing things. But never mind that. Cabanela, this is quite a surprising guest you've brought with you. Pretending like he didn't just blow up the place? Are you talking about me? Oh, this is a different guy, and I'm his guest, actually. Said he came to rescue us. Unlike you, my sharp friend, he still hasn't gotten his memory back. Huh, pitiful. Ouch, that hurts. See, like, this is my goofy pal. Anyway, now we'll be going back to 4 minutes before your death, in order to change your fate, that is. But aren't we already in the past, man? But we can go back even further. I've done it before. I still don't see a path to saving Inspector Cabanela. But if we go back further, maybe I'll find a lead. You ready for that? Take off. How many times do I have to tell you, Professor? This place is dangerous. Don't be daft. I can't leave now. He's completely dead, but just as I thought, I'm getting a reading. This is the source of his powers. If I remove it... He's not dead, he's just not there. The true form of the manipulator isn't something you can detect. It's a spirit. Huh, ridiculous. So you figured it all out, huh? You're a clever man, Inspector Cabanela. So it's really true. You're... I wasted a lot of time tonight because of you, Inspector. But it's all just like you said. I died 10 years ago. This body is just a vessel, a shell. I control everything. The shell, people, just like I controlled the Justice Minister and Lynn. That solo is so good, I'm sorry. So it's true. You were manipulating my baby that time. Right, because he cares about Lynn. You made her shoot your shell. But why? Why would you do a thing like that? To create conclusive evidence, you know, on that security tape. Now she's a murderer too. She'll suffer just like Jowd did. Now then, Professor. I'm afraid it's time for you to die. I don't have any grudge against you. I'm even grateful to you. Oh yeah? So why don't you let me live then? I'll be leaving this country forever tonight. But before I do, I need to erase all evidence that these powers of mine exist. Along with the contraption in this room. This time, the thing will work the way it was meant to and it'll all be over. Cupid won't turn this time. He'll shoot his little arrow this way. Professor, look out! Ah, this is where the broken bones come from. Dynamite, eh? When the devil did he put that there? He planned it all out tonight. Having my baby shoot him, having his corpse disappear. His corpse disappeared. That medical examiner. Remember him? He was a complete and utter imposter, yeah. He said he was going to take the corpse back to the lab, but he'd already made a deal with the manipulator to meet him and give him the body back. And I wasn't gonna let that happen, baby. You saw through their plan, eh? I noticed right away the medical examiner didn't know the first thing about examining a body. I knew he was a fake, so I tracked him down and bought him off. Bought him off? I had him smuggle the corpse to this room. I thought we could find the source of his powers. Of course, never in my wildest dreams did I think his abilities were powers of the dead. Anyway, there isn't much time. He's leaving the country before dawn. And I'm gonna follow him, of course, after I save you two. But something's been nagging at the back of my mind. I remember what Ray said to me tonight. He said that spirits cease to exist when the day breaks. But if that's true, how could a spirit from 10 years ago still be here, the meteorite? No time for thinking now, baby. Action is the name of the game. Work your magic and take us back even further into the past. I want to know what that is. All right, man. Jump in there and stop that explosion, would you? Easy enough for you to say. Foolish of you to say, too. If you stop the explosion, he'll just do me in some other way. Fair enough. Then jump in there and take care of that man in red, would you? I repeat, easy enough for you to say. And most likely impossible to boot. That huge explosion didn't even make him bat an eye. Well, what do you propose then, Prof? Pray tell. Your best bet? is to save me during the explosion without him noticing. Easy enough for you to say. Sheesh, what's with all these people? Anywho, jump in there and do something. Okay, I think I need to save the game. And we'll start back here next week, which I suspect is going to lead us to the end of the game, which is why I don't think we can keep going here. Yeah, next time we'll do a ghost fight. Man. Yeah, no, okay. So it was really satisfying, all the stuff that I had successfully pieced together. But then there's like a bunch of things that you can't really know. Or at least I couldn't figure out. So I'm really excited about that too. Like, it's all gonna come together. It feels like it's really like nicely layered and really good. Like, there's a lot of silliness involved in both the gameplay and the writing, but there's like the characters are really endearing and the story is interesting, and the details and complexity and layering of it are neat and enough to keep you on your toes without being gimmicky. I like it. I like it a lot. I can see why people love it. I don't think it's gonna have me crying, but I think I'm gonna feel really good. Like, I think I'm gonna be really pleased with the ending and the way the game goes. And I appreciate folks recommending it to me so wholeheartedly, because it's definitely a really good game. So yeah, man, I wonder if we're gonna beat it next week. It really does feel like we're getting pretty close to an ending, doesn't it? Don't tell me if you know. I'm really excited though. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen if I start moving, if this guy gets tipped off to me existing. But yeah, I'm gonna be thinking a little bit on what is Ray and what is the person we know as Sissel, and what's with these different names for this character. And obviously the meteorite is a factor. Aliens. But we'll see where it goes from here. Alright, so Thursday we'll be doing more Undertale Yellow. And Tuesday we will pick up with potentially the finale of this game. So thank you all for being here. You are delightful. And I will catch you later. Bye! Don't forget to join us on Discord and social media and stuff if that sounds like fun. Okay, for real this time. Bye bye! Bye bye! Bye bye!